ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Nigeria's political landscape is currently heating up as the All Progressive Congress, the APC, and the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, are gearing up for the highly anticipated National Convention. Hello and welcome. This is This Morning on ITV. I am Nwoluwapo Stevens right here in our Benin studio. And I also have Harry Iboje joining me this morning. Good morning, Harry.
Good morning, Anu. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. How are you doing today?
I'm good. And you? How was your night?
Oh, well, great, amazing, blessed. So a lot of things to talk about, especially in the political terrain right here in Nigeria. But before we even move over to that, which is going to shape the basis of our conversation this morning, there's something going on as regards PAR. The conversation has been on for as long as I can remember, but just Tuesday this week, the Minister of PAR, Adebayo Adelabu, came out to apologize to Nigerians and say, you know what, I am sorry. The federal government is sorry for all of the hustle, all of the bustle as regards the PAR, the poor epileptic power supply in Nigeria. And you know what, give us 2 weeks. Give him 2 weeks categorically. He's going to fix the power situation. Would that even work? Or those are just political, theatrics?
Well, someone once said that Nigerians seem to be so obsessed with apologies. And, it's one of the reasons why someone could just make a very terrible blunder and do an unthinkable thing and then come out to apologize. And as a matter of fact, Nigerians usually demand for apologies like their lives depend on it. And the big question is, do apologies change anything? Will an apology restore things to status quo? I think these are questions begging for answers. And you see, I really do not have a problem with the fact that he came out to apologize. It's actually a noble move, if you ask me. But the question is, will these actually bring about the desired change? Now, he's promising that in 2 weeks' time, the power situation will be stabilized. But the question is, should we also take him for his word the same way Nigerians are, probably taking the president for his word, when he said that if he's not able to stabilize the power sector, in his first tenure, that he shouldn't be voted for the second? Well, I
So
guess.
basically what you're saying is it is not just the Minister of Power who should be blamed for
Exactly.
this, the federal government in
The
entirety.
federal government in its entirety.
Well, he actually admitted that the blackout has deepened hardship across homes, businesses, schools, and industries amid the scorching dry season hit. Now, have you been going through any of this hullabaloo as regards electricity, or perhaps you're one of the band-aids? But even the band-aids are currently facing heat.
It's actually funny that you would ask me that, because I guess...
Well, you don't look like someone who's going
Well,
through
we
it.
really don't look like what we've been through. I guess that's the story for the average Nigerian, or the story of the average Nigerian, rather. Nigerians are very resilient people, and you know, they've come to grips with the reality of what they're going through. So one of the things I believe Nigerians are known for is the ability to adapt to every situation. And the power situation is something that has been, you know, that has lingered on for so long.
Of course.
As a matter of fact, it's even it's actually a shame that we're still dealing with the power situation at this time. You know, at a time when the rest of the world has moved on to, you know, bigger things.
Of course.
You know, and it's actually really shameful.
Indeed. Well, in 2026, let's move over to Lagos, where Patricia Gabriels is on. Maybe Patricia doesn't really face, or you don't get to face any of the epileptic power supply in Lagos. It's just a smooth ride for you, Patricia. Good morning. Welcome on board.
Good morning, Anu. I mean, I guess it's worse here in Lagos. And then just like you said, I heard and I saw the minister apologizing and asked that we should give 2 weeks. The question is, 2 weeks? I mean, what happened with all other months or the weeks past that they couldn't fix it? Are we sure 2 weeks is enough to fix whatever the problem is? It is terrible here in Lagos. I think in my house, I haven't seen the NEPA light for the past 3 days. I have been on generator, and we all know what the petrol price is as at now. So it's very, very terrible, and it's affecting me too. Like Harry said, look like what we passed in Nigeria.
Okay, Patricia, but I mean, 3 days is really small. In some towns and cities, for over a month, there's been no light at all. But then again, just as you said, would 2 weeks even amount for anything? And let's not forget, the same Minister of Powers, there's been feelers that he wants to contest for the governorship position, the governorship seat in Oyo State come 2027. And when asked if he is going to do it, he just shoved it off and really did not come out straight. A clear case of a politician in particular. And then he said that we should give him 2 weeks. That is from now, when he said it on Tuesday, up until perhaps over March 31st. But let's not forget that the federal government, the president in particular, has told all political appointees who would want to contest for the forthcoming election in 2027 to vacate their seats, resign, right? So are we going to be seeing him resigning is the question. Now, there are a lot of those persons who have even called for his resignation. Will that even happen, Patricia?
Well, like I said, we should give him 2 weeks. I know it might be he's preparing to resign to prepare for the governorship election, and that he will do in a few weeks' time. So if he does that, he's going to be escaping the 2 weeks, and then he leaves us in this dilemma that we are right now in the light issues. But like the president said, that's the right thing to do. If you know you want to contest for an election come 2027, you have to resign and then go face the politicking. Do not disturb, okay, your work and your arrange yourselves 27 for your election. Anyway, I know hopefully he might resign because he has so much interest in contesting, but he should come out truthful and plain to let us know if he's resigning and leaving us in this dilemma, because there's a lot of hardship going on with the light issues in Nigeria. A lot of businesses are complaining, especially those that are into frozen food. You know, they are complaining that they spend so much money in petrol, and so it's not good for business.
Okay, away from that, gentleman and the lady, let's react to another major conversation. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, said on Monday that a former acting accountant general of the Federation, Chukwunyere Nwobuku, has been convicted and sentenced to 72 years imprisonment for fraud involving 868.46 million naira. The Commission disclosed this in a post on its X handle, noting that Nwabuku was prosecuted before the Federal High Court in Abuja on charges bordering on money laundering. Now, he was appointed acting Accountant General of the Federation in May 2022, following the suspension of Ahmed Idris over an alleged 800 million naira fraud, but was removed a few weeks later. Well, this is Nigeria. I'd love to get your take on it, Harry, before we move over to Abuja.
Okay, it's actually a funny one. Funny in the sense that he appears to me as someone who life gave a chance to, to prove himself. And then instead of towing a different path and doing something different from what his predecessor did, he chose to, toe the same line. Now, what you just read actually states that he became an acting accountant general because his predecessor was suspended over the same money laundering issue.
So are you saying it's a Nigerian thing?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be.
Oh, it's a man thing because a man and a man.
Now, don't even go there.
Thing.
Don't go there
Of
because
course,
I know you're trying to be
that's
sexist. I don't think it has anything to do with gender. We've seen several cases of women, also being fingered in, money laundering cases in the past. If you really want us to go that route, but
I know, right? You're the wrong person to have that kind of conversation with, but just go ahead.
But you see, it actually, like you said, I think it's the Nigerian factor.
Right.
And it's sad because I'm not saying that we don't have loads of genuine and honest Nigerians out there, but it's unfortunate that a lot of people cannot stand the temptation. They cannot fight the temptation of money, or should I say financial misappropriation. Okay, one of the ways to know to assess a man's integrity is how he handles the temptation that comes with being in the midst of money. And it's really unfortunate that he couldn't learn from his predecessor. He found himself there and he told the same path. It's really sad.
Oh, well, this is Nigeria. This is Nigeria. Well, let's move over to Abuja. Perhaps Charity Tanko has something different to say amidst all of our conversation that we've been having here this morning from the money laundering case, 72 years. I wonder how old he is now and how many years he even has to spend on earth. That's like a life imprisonment. Charity, good morning. Welcome on board. Charity, if you can hear me, please go ahead. Okay, we'll get back to Charity shortly. Let's move over. All right, let's move over to Lagos. I'm sure Patricia is still on. Patricia, you want to react to this. What was your first reaction when you heard this particular story? Because it's been in the news for a while now. Tell me.
Okay, I'm going to start by addressing Harry. We have a few women that have been fingered for money laundering or, stealing from the cooking pot. A few women, but it's mostly with the men. And you begin to ask yourself, what exactly is wrong with Nigerian and Nigerian men, if you allow me to say that? What exactly is wrong with them? They just suspended someone and put you there, and you came and did the same thing. But the question now is, why just him 75 and 72 years imprisonment? If we decide to start giving them or jailing them, I'm sure almost every Nigerian leader and those in top offices will be jailed for more than 72 years, because it's all the same story every day. He has 72 years. He's the one paying for everybody.
Right. It's really a sad one. And then there are those who would ask, is this just an isolated case or it's a real fight against corruption? Because over time we've seen the leaders, we've seen politicians, corrupt politicians who get to steal, siphon money, both either the male or the female. We've seen it happen over time and sometimes they just run and fly away with it. I remember the current EFCC boss did say that if he doesn't get Yahaya Bello, he's going to resign, and he's still here in office. Oh well, this is Nigeria, as I would say often. Now, moving back to you in in Lagos, Patricia, what are we expecting from your end this morning? Please go ahead.
Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the internal crisis in PDP. I mean, we all know that the elections are coming very closely, and then all talks on politics this period. And so we're looking at our crisis in and asking, is led grouping over PDP structure? And what is the future what does the future of PDP come to 2027 elections? Is it that PDP, in quotes, is going to be completely still have the structure of PDP? Right now, we have just the governor of Oyo State who is standing and saying, I'm still a member of PDP. I mean, it's just a few of them. Now, Wike's structure is leading, and then the court has asked that they should take over. I don't know if PDP will still be standing by 2027 election, or it is swept under the carpet, or PDP will come out to run for offices like every other political party. So that's what we'll be talking at from Lagos.
Of course, I'm sure we're looking forward to that conversation, and let's just hope that the convention that will be coming up this weekend would bring out something tangible from both the PDP and also, of course, the APC. They're quite good, the PDP in particular. Moving back to Abuja, Charity, are you on? Please go ahead with your take this morning.
Well, what we have from Abuja this morning, we shall be taking a look at the fuel crisis in Nigeria and how this has affected every other that and
Right, we'll get back to Charity in just a moment. But right here in Benin, Edo State, Nigeria, our main conversation this morning is as regards the Nigeria's electricity sector, Nigeria's energy sector, if I'm to put it that way. Matters are rising. How long too long are we going to continue like this? We'll have our guest join in the studio and also virtually from Lagos State, Nigeria. And we'll also turn our attention to politics and take a critical look ahead of the APC and the PDP convention slated for this weekend. Will it even bring out something tangible, especially with the PDP faction? Yesterday, Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, came out to say there are no faction in the PDP, just angry buddies moving around. We'll talk about all of this and more right after this break.
Bueno, ne ikue give iwe. Sana o, me pora poria o. Aya sige, watu muke gele. Aya sige, watu muke. Watu muke o gele. Watu muke amo. Aya sige, watu muke gele. Ay matae, kasatae. Ay matae, kasatae. Ay matae, we kasatae. E kasayo wama o tiga fatwa semen. Oh, akimanza dome woma. Kasayebo, akimanza dome wome. Oh, arunyu.
This is Aqua Game, a popular game in Africa played by our ancestors to entertain themselves after each day of farming.
Welcome back. It's now time for us to look at what a couple of national dailies have in stock for us this morning. We start off with the Daily Independent newspaper, leading with the major headline in business news that says Nigeria's oil output hits 11-month low despite reforms. Subwriter says raises fresh concern over 2026 budget expectations. Other interesting headlines on the Daily Independent newspaper. Civil servant gives federal government 7 days over 70,000 naira wage allowance on page 7. I like the sound of this though, but would it work? And see the light of the day, another conversation entirely. On page 6, ADC will build a safer Nigeria, David Mark assures. Court faults Erufai's 1 billion naira rights suit against ICPC, IGP, others. Still on page 6. Capital importation hits $6.44 billion in the fourth quarter of 2025, up 26.6 year-on-year on page 7. PDP crisis. Turkey, Wike camps begin high-stakes reconciliation moves. Well, other interesting headlines this morning on the Daily Independent. Articles criticism of OPL 245 deal. Okay, so I think that's all on the Daily Independent newspaper, Harry.
All right, let's now shift our focus to the Guardian newspaper. And on the Guardian newspaper, the screamer here is saying, concerns as consensus plot robs parties of internal democracy. Concerns as consensus plot robs parties of internal democracy. And you'll find that on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper and above the masthead. This one here says, travel agencies decry NIB yearly loss to foreign airline sanctions. Travel agencies decry NIB yearly loss to foreign airlines sanctions. And that's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And next on the Guardian newspaper says, Nigerians borrow to survive as 30% earn below 100,000 naira. Nigerians borrow to survive as 30% earn below 100,000 naira. That's a rather worrisome one.
That is really sad.
It is really sad.
And now the civil servants are demanding for a 70,000 naira wage allowance.
It's sounding like they're asking for too much.
Remember last week we had a conversation with NLC, also making their own demand for 154,000 naira minimum wage per se, if that would work.
And I mean, just like you said, if that would work, we actually do hope it will work.
Well, it can work for a country where someone would steal 800 and something billion and million naira, and then an average Nigerian is actually scalping for food.
It's sad.
It's really pathetic.
It's really sad, and it actually says a lot about the system. And let's move on to more interesting headlines on the Guardian newspaper this morning. Union Bank status unchanged, says CBN despite court ruling. Union Bank status unchanged, says CBN despite court ruling, and that's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's take a look at some other very interesting headlines. NBA Showore Bika over abuse of courtroom etiquette. I mean, it's funny how, some of our elites, pay attention to frivolities when there are more serious issues to, attend to. NBA Showore Bika over abuse of courtroom etiquette, and that's on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. And then this right here says 50% of executed projects vandalized, abandoned, and that's coming from the NDDC. 50% of executed projects vandalized, abandoned, NDDC laments, and that's on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Now this one here says PDP leaders open to peace pact, assure Nigerians of 2027 readiness. PDP leaders open to peace pact, assure Nigerians of 2027 readiness. You want to know more about that? Get yourself a copy of the Guardian newspaper. And then finally on the Guardian newspaper this morning, $6 billion CapEx gap may stall higher oil output push, crude delivery to Dangote. $6 billion CapEx gap may stall higher oil output push, crude delivery to Dangote. And that's all on the Guardian newspaper.
Well, let's turn our attention over now to another major headline this morning. Let's see what we have next on the screen. The Vanguard newspaper, perhaps. Let's see what the Vanguard newspaper have for us this morning. We'll start off with the major headline on the Vanguard newspaper. Harry, you want to take it from there?
The Vanguard newspaper. Okay, let's rather the Vanguard newspaper is actually saying, as a major headline, East War, Middle East War rather, business closure and job losses loom. Business closures and job losses loom. And that's as the result of the Middle East War. NECA, NLC, LCCI, ASBON are the ones saying that. The Middle East War, business closures and job losses loom. We actually do hope it doesn't get to this point because, you see, the war doesn't seem to be coming to an end anytime soon. But we're praying that, the powers that be, the US, Israel, and of course Iran, are able to come to a negotiating table real soon.
Okay.
Of course, we saw yesterday that Trump is proposing, or should I say, is projecting an end to, or should I say, a suspension of the war for 4 days.
Away from the Vanguard newspaper, let's look at the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. The Daily Trust newspaper is leading this morning with a security headline. It says 11 soldiers, police officers killed in Kebbi ambush. Rather sad. That's the major headline on the Daily Trust today. And on the front page of the Daily Trust, you have pictures of an accident that did happen right there. It says image from attacks on soldiers, policemen, right there in Kebbi State, and it happened on Tuesday. Well, many feared dead as pit collapses in Kano on page 6. The truth about OPL 245 by Attorney General on page 5. Misinformation, distrust, discouraging youth from voting. Who was speaking? Amo Peter on page 10. Well, other interesting headlines this morning. 2027, Congress's clear coast for Tinubu on page 4. 3 killed as violence erupts in Nasarawa community. Court orders final forfeiture of $13 million linked to Achimugu's firm on page 5. And finally, on the front page of the Daily Trust today, after 8 children, woman gives birth to quintuplets on page 6. Some would say in this economy. Well, it's actually a good news, but then again.
Well, some news come with, some good news come with a little touch of, should I say?
Of Nigeria news.
I guess so.
Okay, well, we get to wrap up the newspaper review here. We'll leave it here for you for today. Do well to pick up a copy or two, maybe of any of the national dailies to stay abreast with what is going on in the country at the moment. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll move over to look at our major conversation for this morning with our guests joining live in the studio. Please stay with us.
It is also relevant in our coronation in Africa. It is a sport and indeed very interesting, as every seed had a role in the game. Playtime is 45 minutes per set. There is no age limit as long as you can spin Aqua Seed. Ayo or Aqua game, known as the game of intellectual. This game requires a lot of mathematical skills. Aqua game is played with carved wooden box containing 12 holes.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, on Tuesday tendered a public apology to Nigerians over the crippling and persistent outages witnessed in the last month. He admitted that the blackout has deepened hardship across homes, businesses, schools, and industries amid the scorching dry season heat. This comes as the minister announced that he left the door open on his political future, adding that his immediate focus remained to address the country's electricity challenges. There have been speculations over his continued stay in office amid a possible entry into the Oyo State governorship race. Nigeria's power sector is one of the most critical and most challenging in the country's economy. And also to let you know that despite having large energy resources, electricity supply remains unreliable for many households and businesses. Now, joining us this morning to look critically at Nigeria's energy sector, I have with me in the studio Idris Zakari. He is a public affairs analyst, joins live in the studio. And also joining virtually from Lagos, Nigeria, I have Olumide Toniyibo. He joins live this morning in Lagos. Thank you so much for joining. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, welcome on board. Now, let me quickly start with you, Idris. What was that first reaction you got when you heard the tendered apology from the Minister of Power?
Thank you. An absolute delight to be here. Thank you for inviting me once more. I have very serious problems with people who make promises and apologize later, even when all of the necessary indices to achieve that result was made available to them. One of the very vocal promises of the present administration led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was that they were going to give Nigeria power in 4 years. He was very clear on it, he was very direct on it, even when there were a lot of other complicated areas, you know, the balablu. You can have a lot of bad things to say about the president, but one thing he said clearly that is documented by every conscious Nigerian is that if I do not give you power in 4 years, vote me out in the next election. He didn't ask that I'll come apologize, I said vote me out. You know, and to implement that his agenda for power, he brought in an Adelabu from Oyo State, your state,
Oh, wow.
to drive that process of ensuring that Nigerians had power. Almost 3 years down the line, we are now approaching an election year. What we are getting is an apology instead of measurable progress in reasonable time. No one asks you to solve all the problems overnight, but we expect that if you find yourself in public office, you should be able to tell us that in the last 3 years, we've moved from point A to point B. What we have actually had under Adelabu is a reversal from where we used to be. In fact, I think they are taking us even beyond 1999, because as a young child, as a young person in 1999, you can count the number of hours that there will be power. But in 2026, you hardly even see power. A lot of Nigerians have gone off grid. Most Nigerians have set up solar systems in their house for those that can afford it. Those who cannot afford it have bought bigger generators to power their fridges and everything else. And those who cannot even afford that are now relying on the improved version of I Better Pass My Neighbor generator. Children are having to deal with heat rashes. You just need to see newborn, go to the hospital. Like I always say, I speak for the common man. I'm not here to push establishment narrative. Go to the hospitals in Benin. I am in Benin. Go to the hospitals in Benin and see even newborn. Go to the pediatric unit of major hospitals in Benin and see the problem with power in Edo State and of course in Nigeria. You can take it step. I went to an A-list restaurant yesterday in Benin, and for the first time in a very long time, they didn't have power. It was a dark place, and the place is built in such a way that there's no windows for ventilation, so they depend solely on the air conditioning system. So since it didn't work, people were fanning themselves and eating their food. This is where we have found ourselves. You don't want to talk about the street lights. You don't want to talk about, some of the critical businesses are folding by the day. Even an A-list Nollywood artist came out yesterday to now publicly complain. So
it's touching everywhere.
It's touching everywhere. And you can stretch that from power to energy as a whole. And one of the lame excuses he gave yesterday, the one I find most annoying, most disgusting, was that there was trouble in the Middle East. And upon that premise, Nigerians cannot have power. I can tell you for a fact that as we speak, Iran still has 24/7 power supply. Iran all the bombs are dropping on has power. UAE, the one people call Dubai, is actually not Dubai, it's UAE, is the capital. The capital is actually Abu Dhabi, but Dubai is the most popular city, just like Lagos is the most popular city in Nigeria. UAE, that is caught in the crossfire, has 24/7 power supply. Saudi Arabia has 24/7 power supply. Israel, that is one of the fighting states, has 24/7 power supply. We don't even need to talk about the United States.
Okay, so what are you trying to say? But even before we go there are those who, I remember someone asking yesterday that why is Nigeria one of the first most African state who is going through all of this electricity shortages and the fuel shortages and all of the,
it's all power shortages
we have been seeing. But just to add a follow-up question with what you said, with a lot of personnel seeking alternative power supply, even the federal government, the presidential villa in Abuja has cut off from the national grid and has opted out for solar panels in Abuja. Shouldn't that be worrisome for Nigerians?
We can go on and on. A president who promised you power, it's like a man has promised to marry you, not you now, a girl. A man has promised to marry a girl. And the man before has done another wedding with another girl, publicly announced. And you are still waiting for him to come and marry you. You are living in a fool's paradise. It's the same. The president promised us power supply in 4 years. 3 years down the line, the man has disconnected from what he promised to fix. And he has now gone solar. He has now gone off grid. We call it off grid. He's done the off grid component at humongous amount. Over 25 billion they spent over a period of 2 years to completely disconnect Aso Rock, the seat of power, not Tinubu's house, Aso Rock, our seat of power, from the national grid. I like to stretch this argument further. You see the cost of fuel now. Fuel has gone up to 1.4 in some places, and they tell us that because they are fighting, that is why fuel has gone up. I'll ask you this question: Do you think fuel has gone up in Saudi Arabia? No, it's the same. Fuel has not gone up in UAE. Fuel has not gone up even in Iran. Fuel has not gone up in Israel. So why is Nigeria? But fuel must go up in Nigeria because these guys are fighting. This is the same Nigeria that has a huge refinery in Dangote, that has crude oil in our backyard here. We are here in the south side. Edo is south side. We have crude oil here. But we cannot take our crude oil from the fields of the Niger Delta, process it in Dangote, and give our people fuel. Dangote has to import from outside the country to feed his refinery. And Nigerians are exporting and stealing. That's why you hear crude oil theft. You and I cannot steal crude oil. Crude oil can only be stolen by people who have the capacity to steal it. And there is no ship that can come into Nigeria without the express permission of the Nigerian government. Right. Add 1 + 1 together is equals to 2. You and I now know who is stealing the crude.
All right, thank you, Idris. Thank you very much for that amazing analysis. Now, my question goes to you, Mr. Fatoyinbo. All right, now let's address the speculations about the Minister of Power trying to, or planning to run for governorship in his state. Now, do you think that has anything to do with these issues that we're facing? Do you think he's distracted by his political ambition, or it's just a reality that that he's dealing with?
Yes, it's a great pleasure to be here. So I am of the opinion that the plan of the minister to contest for the gubernatorial position in Oyo State, of course, it's a distraction. And thanks to Mr. President, who has stipulated that anybody who wants to go for a contest for any elective position in his cabinet should resign before or on March 31st, 2026. So I believe, by and large, it will be a distraction, and that's the point that they should all resign if they have the ambitions to actually solve that. But looking at it, it has a way, it speaks to his capacity as a person. Because will it be apology that will be given to the Oyo people when he is failing to do some basic responsibility? The best apology should be to resign. This is not the first time the minister is saying that they will ensure that the government, they are able to generate at least 6,000 megawatts. He said that in 2024 when he was inspecting the Calabar Power Generation Plant. He mentioned that loud and clear in 2024. And that is still the same promise that he's making at present. So that is ridiculous. In fact, it shows lack of capacity and competence to say the least. The best apology should be to resign immediately, because power is a foundational issue. The Constitution stipulates that security and welfare shall be the primary purpose of government. So, and power has every tie with welfare. So, without welfare, then what are they doing in government? So, that's my point. That's my opinion regarding that. We look at hospitals, healthcare, they can't survive without power. We look at businesses, they can't survive without power. As much as they failed to deliver that major primary assignment they have, then I question why they are still in power. Of course, if he becomes the governor of Oyo State, of course, he will have to take charge and also meet up with some of these responsibilities. If he's offering apology at this point in time, since when he has been in office, since August 16, 2023, and we are still dealing with apology right now, then I think the question of capacity per se, in the real sense of it. Though I'm also of the opinion that perhaps because it's not from the power sector, or it doesn't probably have the technical know-how of how the power sector works, maybe that probably affected. But I always have this opinion that there are some critical points in governance that need experts. A minister of power should be someone who has been in the power sector for quite a long time. So power is not something that you can just give to anybody. It needs insider. Beyond the political will, it is essential that they know the technical know-how, they know the insider stories of how they can make things work.
All right. Now, some persons are also insinuating that, the elite, the president, or should I say the presidency, do not have the interest of the common man at heart. So they are attributing this to a lack of empathy on the part of our leaders. What do you make of that? Do you think it has anything to do with empathy, or they are just genuinely, incapacitated to handle the power issue?
I think it goes both ways. It goes both ways. If they are empathetic about the situation of the common man, the current minister of power should actually resign and be probably pushed to somewhere that is better fit. If they want to achieve the best result, they know the route to go, which is to appoint someone who is capable, who has the technical know-how. That's the only way they can show their empathy, not by apology. Apology doesn't solve any issue. Will apology fix the power issue? Will apology generate megawatts? Apology doesn't do anything. It only shows lack of initiative, because they are not just coming to power. Perhaps if they are saying in their first 6 months, they are saying, okay, bear with us, we are sorry, we are working on it. This is over a year, this is over 2 years. So if we are still on the part of apology at this point, then they are not being empathetic, especially regarding this power issue. I don't know about all other issues, but as far as power is concerned, they need to do better.
Okay, thank you so much, Olumide. Now let's get back to Idris here in the studio. There are those who would blame the 2013 privatization of power sector in the country and say, okay, it didn't just start from now. We've had the privatization of the power sector, and that has been one of the major issues. And let's say the DISCOs and the GENCOs and the transmission company, the TCN, who were given the duty, the mandate to carry out and to ensure that they provide electricity fully, have not really been doing their job. And then there's also the conversation of the federal government owing debts now worth 6 trillion naira. Just a couple of days ago, NLC did say that the money should not be paid to whoever because they do not feel that the right thing has been done so far. And also, just to marry everything, during the course of the press briefing being done by the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, he did state that the reason why we're where we are at this point is because of shortage in gas supply. You want to go ahead?
First of all, you talked about privatization. And it is not you and I and the gentleman by the side that privatize power. It is government that privatize power. If government has privatized power and the privatization is not working, whose job is it to reverse it? Is it for me to discuss it or for them to do what they need to do to give Nigerians power? I usually avoid the technical discussion on issues. You know why the technical discussion is immaterial? Because there are people in the power ministry very well resourced, compensated and paid to deal with the technical details. What we want to see is results. So if I am discussing the technical details for them, it is free consultancy, and I no longer do free consultancy for politicians. Let them handle the business of power and give Nigerians power. You mentioned, there's the second part you mentioned about
as regards
debts.
Debt, yes.
Who is owing the debt, Anu? If you and I are owing power or BEDC, what happens? They immediately disconnect you. If you bypass, they bring police to your house.
So you're saying they should apply the same approach to...
The question is who is owing? Aso Rock is owing.
Okay.
Most of the big ministries you hear, they are owing. Most of the police commands are owing. Most of the state government houses, see how irresponsible these people are? A government house of a state where the governor stays will be owing electricity bill. But me, the common man, cannot hold. And because they are owing, I cannot get power. I want you to process that for a minute. Aso Rock, government house, where your governor stays, local government headquarters, police station, military command, Ministry of Power is even owing. All of these key sectors that are supposed to drive the economy, government sectors for that matter, that have allocation, refuse to pay light bill and use the leverage they have because they are government to ensure that they are not disconnected. But if you and I, with our small businesses are owing, they must disconnect us and we must suffer for what the government is doing. We have very irresponsible people occupying public office. And for that gentleman that is planning, he has become Minister of Darkness in the Federal Republic and is now planning to go to Oyo. I rather say that Oyo people should vote for Anu instead of voting for that person.
Oh my God. Well, if that would even work, if he would even get the tickets for Oyo governorship come 2027, is also another conversation to talk about. But we'll quickly take a short break. And when we return, we move over to the final laps of the conversation. Please stay with us.
ITV, certainly the best.
Well, it's great to have you back. It's still this morning on ITV, and we're still right here in our Benin Center. Now, my next question actually goes to you, we're actually wrapping up this conversation with this, Mr. Olumide Toyinbo. What do you think Nigerians should expect going forward in the light of the current realities, especially with the apology that the Minister of Power just tendered? What should Nigerians expect going forward?
You know, we've been Nigerian for this long, so this is not the time to lose hope. So it's just to be optimistic that they will be able to solve the issue. Because if we lose hope now, to what end? So it's just to be fast-fair and see what they will do within 2 weeks, as promised by the Minister of Power. So within 2 weeks, he promised that within 2 weeks, there will be improvement. So we can only hope, because right now, I don't think we as Nigerians, we've entrusted them with the power. So if they are failing us, it's up to them. The joke is on them, not on Nigeria. So we can only look for alternatives, pending the time there will be the resolving of all of these issues. So we can only be optimistic. That's the only way forward.
Okay, and moving back to you, Idris, right here in the studio. He did emphasize the 2 weeks ultimatum that the Minister of Power asked for. Would that even work for someone who has been in power since 2023, had like almost 3 years to fix it, and now you're demanding for 2 weeks to just put an end to everything? Would it work as we
He has had 3 years to show measurable, I didn't say fixed power, because that's a very generalistic statement. It might not be possible to fix power in 3 years, but he has had 3 years to show reasonable progress or measurable progress in reasonable time. He has successfully reversed us, put us on the reverse gear, and is running at 100 kilometers per hour. This man who has had 3 years and did nothing is now asking you for another 2 weeks to fix what he could not do in 3 years. I align completely with the Speaker from Lagos, Barrister Olumide. The man has to resign. But let me tell you the 30 cents he's using for Nigerians. He knows that in 2 weeks, he's going to be forced to resign his appointment because he has to go to Oyo to run for governor, which I am already warning the Oyo people through. And this man is Minister of Darkness in the country.
He's Minister of Power.
He should no, it's Minister of Darkness. Do you have power? You are using generator. You say it's Minister of Power. Where is the power? It's Minister of Powerlessness. Don't let him come and take over your state. He will do the same there. But if you do not listen, it is now up to you. And then we stretch it further. So if he knows he's leaving office in 2 weeks, why is he promising 2 weeks? So that you no longer blame him. So that whoever comes there will have to inherit that promise. This is the sense they are using, and this is what Nigerians will not continue to tolerate.
Oh dear, well, we can only wait, hope, and, pray for the best. I mean, hope is all we have and all we have currently in the country. We take a short break. When we return, we move over to talk about the upcoming convention with the PDP and the APC over the weekend. Please stay tuned. Now, Nigeria's political landscape is heating up as the All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, gear up for their highly anticipated national conventions. These crucial gatherings are expected to shape party leadership, redefine strategies, and set the tone for future elections. But beyond the headlines, questions remain about internal unity, power struggles, and what it all means for Nigerians. The PDP National Convention is billed for March 29th, while the APC convention is scheduled from March 27th, that's tomorrow, to March 28th, right there in Abuja. Today, we take a closer look at the stakes, the players, and of course the potential impact on the country's political future. And we still have our guests here in the studio. But let me start with Barrister Olumide. What do you foresee would happen, especially with the PDP camp? Let's start off from there, because we've seen several factions, even though yesterday the Minister of the FCT, I was going to say PAR now, the Minister of the FCT, Wike, came out to say that there are no factions, just angry persons moving around circles. Barrister Olumide, please go ahead.
Yes, I would agree totally with the FCT Minister. Of course, currently the subsisting judgment favors, of course, the FCT Minister's faction of the PDP. So the contention now is just for the other warring parties to align with the current judgment of the court regarding the situation of the PDP. So I see that with time, the people who are aggrieved, they will gradually align with the subsisting, the current, the judgment of the court. They will move towards the weakest faction of the PDP. But the question is of what use is for the common man, because when we look at the political interest in this country, it's always about selfish interest most of the time, sincerely speaking. So at times when it comes to political party and all of that, I'm always tongue-tied to talk about it, because at the end of the day, they are all the same, PDP, APC. So the best thing is just to be hopeful that in the coming days, there will be a reflection of what they want to do for the common man in the country. So that should be what we should really focus on, because the common man often do not have a say in most of the happenings in the political party, or who will end up being the flag bearers of this political party. Because at the end of the day, it's all about selfish interest. So we can only be hopeful that whoever will emerge as the candidates and all of that, we have the best interest of the country at heart.
Okay, I hear you, Barrister Olumide. I would love you to also give us a background story to what is going on currently with the PDP, with the conflicting court judgments. We saw what happened late last year with the one that happened, the convention they had in Ibadan, and how it was nullified by the appeal court. And now the appeal court told them to go settle their differences amicably and have a reconciliation movement. That's number one. And also, will this common convention unify the party, or do you see a possible further division amongst political appointees there?
Thank you. For PDP, honestly, at this point in time, it's just for them to reduce cohesion and position themselves as a viable alternative, which I don't see happening at the end of the day, because currently the judgment of the court is in favor of, the subsisting judgment is in favor of the weakest cabinet, and we know the situation of Wike in the current, the honorable minister in the current administration. So it's more or less PDP, APC coalition, honestly speaking. So, and there's a limit to how far the warring parties can go. I mean, the other faction at the other side of the weakest faction. So there's a limit to what they can do, because they are running out of time, and even if they have to go to court, at the end of the day, it may end up being academic exercise. But in my opinion, the faction that will present the flag bearer per se would be the weakest faction, and the best thing is just for them to settle their differences and make sure that they build cohesion so that they can be viable alternatives, which I doubt to a large extent.
All right, Barrister Olumide, thank you very much. Now, let me come to you, Idris. What do you make of the FCT's remarks that there are really no factions in the PDP, they are just aggrieved members, I mean, of course, factions are usually made up of aggrieved people. So, what do you think?
Discussing the issue of PDP is tantamount to flogging a dead horse. The PDP under Wike's faction is an extension of the APC. Wike is a federal minister under the Bola Tinubu administration. Wike has thrown some of his friends like Sheyi Makinde, who they both all left PDP together in rebellion to what I consider the PDP's mortal sin that led to its eventual demise in 2023, giving the ticket of the PDP to Atiku. 5 of them left. Wike, the man from Benue, the man from Abia, the Makinde, and one other person. I think maybe Enugu, I can't remember. They all left. He has now thrown some of those gentlemen, like Makinde, prominent among which is Makinde, under the bus. So Makinde is now a stranger in his own house. So it is Makinde's enlightened self-interest to look for his political expression elsewhere. We all know that in Nigeria, nobody wins Wike in court. It's public knowledge that nobody wins Wike in the Nigerian court. I don't know. You are the journalist. Go and do your findings. If something is not happening too consistently, all the case Wike takes to court, he wins. Does that not tell you that something is happening? Is in my mouth you want to hear it? All right, so it is not my concern. PDP as a whole is a waste of precious time. PDP is gone. What they are doing now is the 40-day fidaus of PDP. And you know, for you to do that 40-day fidaus, you must have done the initial burial, which is the one, which is the interment, the one you commit to mother earth. PDP has been committed politically to mother earth. So the fidaus we are doing now, Nigerians should look elsewhere. There's nothing happening there anymore.
Maybe we shouldn't bury them before they die.
They are already, it's the fidaus. I just told you now.
Let's wait till after this convention. But let me ask this. You know, there is a school of thought, or should I say there is a section of people who are saying that that Wike, the FCT minister, is, while still in the PDP, is working for the APC, you know, which pretty much gives him off as a saboteur. What do you make of that?
This public knowledge. Wike has never pretended about it. Wike has told you clearly that his agenda in the PDP is to use it to support the president, which, according to party constitution, amounts to anti-party activity. And how come? But like I have mentioned earlier, Wike wins all the cases in court. Take Wike to court now for anti-party activities. The court will charge you for charging Wike. They will charge you for hate against the minister. That is what is now happening. We can discuss it all we like, but like the lawyers will say, rep ipsa loquitur. The fact of the matter speaks for itself. Thank God we have a lawyer as a co-guest, so he probably understand. He knows what I have just said. So there's no need wasting time debating it. Like he rightly pointed out, what is the interest of the common man? The interest of the common man is that as we speak today, 140 million Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. What that means is that beyond not having money or not having sufficient money in your pocket, you also do not have proper access to power. We discussed power earlier. You don't have proper access to healthcare. You cannot travel on your roads. You cannot put your children in proper schools. You cannot even find expression politically because the opposition now are being stifled. So the interest of the Nigerian mind is to find a way to express and a way to assert that the population, the people are the ones who employ. We employ the politicians. The politicians do not employ us. We own the politicians. We pay Tinubu salary, 3 of us here and others. Pay Tinubu salary and pay all his bills. He doesn't pay our bills, and to that extent, Tinubu must answer to us. Finish.
Okay, moving back to Barrister Olumide. Now let's go over and talk about the APC convention slated to kickstart from tomorrow, March 27th, and run through to March 28th. And I hear that today they'll be having a press briefing right there in Abuja. But as regards internal democracy, how do you think the APC has really fared in, you know, the build-up to all of this?
Well, currently, the APC is I would say, is the bride of the moment. They are really enjoying the moment. So, and I don't see that changing anytime soon because of how we can see that most of the governors, they are now in APC. And I'm sure that they have the mechanism in place to make sure that they are still unified fully because they will not want to lose the second term, and they will do everything to make sure that they put things in order to win the second term. And quite interestingly, that may not necessarily translate that they have the best interest of Nigerians at heart. So the best thing is now for Nigerians to scrutinize their intentions so well and perhaps get the best alternative if they must. But if they are still able to withstand the entire storm, I don't see them coming out crashed. They will be very unscratched because I am of the opinion that they've been able to capture the necessary mechanism, the necessary resources, the necessary manpower to get power again in the coming electionary year. Whatever that will translate to for the common man is the question we should really be bothered about, because they have to make it plain to us what are their plans, especially regarding the power sector that we talked about, regarding the general welfare of the common man in the country, because the prices of things are skyrocketing. So what are their plans to make sure that the cost of living is reduced and the standard of living is increased? That should be their main focus. But to them, till the end of the convention, where we'll see what comes out of it.
Okay, well, even before we make our main focus to be as regards the plans that they have for us, if whether or not they have any profitable plans, the National Convention is the one currently on the front burner, or at the front burner. And then the others would say with over 33 governors in the APC camp, it's going to be a smooth ride for them. But then again, during the course of this week, we saw some persons from the APC camp also coming out to complain, saying they weren't given that fair right to also participate with the screening that was going on towards the National Convention. Now, the question is, do you see the party imploding anytime soon? Now, mind you, we have a master strategist in the person of President Bola Tinubu, who would perhaps be able to curtail all of the things that might eventually come out.
If we are to compare the last electionary year to the coming one, we will know that the APC will come out very strong out of it, because at the end of the day, they already have it all planned out. All the aggrieved party, they will find a way to ensure that they are incorporated back into the party quite well. And those ones that are no more interested in the party, of course, they have the right to exit. But I don't see the party like anytime soon, because let's look at it. They have the knife, they have the yam, so they know what they will do regarding it. Before we know it now, all the people worrying, all the people who are having issue with the decision of the party, we see them aligned. That was what happened in the previous electionary year, that people we thought were major contenders for the presidency, they ended up stepping down for the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So I see that playing out again, that they will be able to settle their internal rift and they will forge ahead from there. They don't mind people who are being adamant against the party's will. I see them probably leaving or taking the GOP. But I don't see any issue for APC at present.
Now back to you, Idris. Taking a look at the current cracks, the current crisis in the PDP, do you see that manifesting also in the APC, being the ruling party?
You know, like you rightly pointed out just now, APC now has 31 governors and counting, because we know that some are coming. Maybe there will be 33 by the end of the week. However, there is a little portion of scripture that says, surely they shall gather. But because they have not gathered in my name, what did he say will happen to them? They will surely scatter. Because the APC as a party has done Nigerians, the common man, I always say I speak for the common man, because the APC have done the common man grave injustice, because we thought we had it the worst under the Buhari administration, and in 3 years of Tinubu, he has surpassed 100-fold of the pain and penury of the despair of the Buhari administration has been meted on Nigerians. If you stretch it backwards to 2015, the Jonathan era is now like nostalgia. It's now like the beautiful time we once had that may never come again. And they have now visited that kind of injustice in Nigeria.
Was it really a beautiful time?
It was a beautiful time when you now compare it to today. Then it was seen as Jonathan's government was corrupt, Jonathan's government was inept. Fuel hit 97 naira during the Jonathan administration, 2012. And Nigerians poured into the streets of Lagos, Abuja and elsewhere, including Benin. And Jonathan was forced to rescind this decision. Fuel, 97. How will you explain to a child in Nigeria today, maybe a Gen Z who was maybe 10 years old, 12 years ago, that just 2012, yeah, fuel was 97, but we are now having to buy it at 1,400 naira. How will you explain to a young person that dollar was 120 naira to a dollar just a few years ago? Just like our parents were telling us, there was a time naira was bigger than the dollar. It seems like a lie. But I have witnessed both now. I can tell you for a fact. I was a university student in the Jonathan era. Dollar was 120. If your brother who lives abroad sends you money, then you will go change it. It will just be small money for your hand. Today, dollar is 1,300, 1,400. So if these people have not done well for Nigerians, the only option they have, and this is important, is for them to come together the way they have done and show to the Nigerian people that they are united.
Okay.
That is the only card they have to play.
So you're saying that the united front they are putting up,
yes, it's a show to Nigeria, to convince Nigerians that you have no option. We are united. We are in charge. Like the barrister said, we hold the knife and we hold the yam.
Does that imply that they are not really united?
They may seem united, but I have told you, scriptures has explained it clearly, and I'll repeat I'll reiterate for the sake of emphasis. Surely they will gather, but because they have not gathered in my name and in the interest of Nigerians, what will happen to them? They will surely scatter. Make of that whatever you want.
Okay, let's go back to Barrister Olumide as we tend to leave the conversation here because the convention we kickstart for tomorrow for the APC, and of course the PDP would be happening on Saturday on the 29th of March. In one sentence, what should be the biggest takeaway that Nigerians should look forward to in the forthcoming national convention from both parties?
To me, I would say the party leadership and the flag bearer for the national and state elections. That would be the major takeaway.
Now, same question back to you, Idris.
Major takeaway. Nigerians should take the country. What's my concern with PDP and APC? Nigerians should take their country in their own hands. In the next election, use your tongue to count your teeth. In the next election, look for those who represent your enlightened or your best interest. Politicians will convince you of everything, but it is all pointed to their interest. In your own mind, what is in your interest? Light, food, water, electricity, and all the other things that are necessary for you to have a dignified existence. Pursue that in the next election and pursue it aggressively.
So what's your advice for people who do not believe in the process anymore? People who believe that their votes do not count?
Yes, if you do not believe in politics, politics believes in you. If you are not interested in politics, politics is interested in you.
Okay.
If you do not believe that your vote counts, that's exactly what the politicians want. If you do not believe your vote, the moment you abandon the political process, they hijack it. So it is either one way or the other. You either take charge of the process or you allow the politicians to continue to have it and then continue to lament in your bedroom and on social media. It is up to you. It is up to you. The decision is yours. We can't force that. They say you can force a horse to the river, but you cannot force it to drink water. So it is up to you. That decision is for you to make.
Well, the race is on already, and just as you heard, at the end of the day, it's up to Nigerians, it's up to you to do the needful come 2027 with the parties gearing up for the national convention. Hopefully next week we'll see the outcome of everything, and hopefully Nigerians are looking forward to a hit-free convention, especially from the PDP and most likely from the APC as well. This is where we get to leave the conversation here, always an unending one, but I really must thank my guest joining live from Lagos, Barrister Olumide Toyibo. Thank you so much for being a part of the show this morning. We'll see you again another time.
Thank you very much.
And also, Idris Zakari, thank you so much for your great analysis.
Thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be here. And like I told someone, this is where it all started. And I'm always proud to be back where it all started. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thanks for being
Of
here.
course. Well, that's our bit this morning right here in Benin. We'll take a short break, and over that we move over to Abuja and of course Lagos. Please stay with us.
The land of Owa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Owa traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Owa was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onwian or Onwa. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
ITV, certainly the best.
ẹgbẹ̀dúwà ọba àtọ́pẹ́. ẹgbẹ̀dúwà ọba àtọ́pẹ́ yìí.
The Ekoko masquerades from Ute village, whose cult is connected with Obaeware and his mother, Elere, appear on this occasion to bless the Oba. Ekoko is a ritual masquerade that dances to please the guests and the Oba.
right now. You can say that again. Yes, unstable power supply, high running cost of generator maintenance, and that is why we need to have that conversation right now, because recently I was just having a conversation with a frozen food and drinks vendor, and it was really heartbreaking because after going several hours of power outage, most of our stocks got bad, you know, and it was really unfortunate because also developed a fault, so she did not just lose sales, she lost stock. Why we're having energy covers, because we need to generate so to keep our business running, to keep our homes lighted, and to also power communities, and that is what StarTimes is offering. We are not just into the pay TV business, we are providing solar energy solutions to Nigerians right now. So we are powering homes, we are powering business, we are also powering this. So why StarTimes Solar? You can say that again. Yes, I would recommend StarTimes Solar because StarTimes as a brand has been in Nigeria over 15 years. We're a trusted brand, we are reliable, and reliability into solar energy solutions. We are providing its package for Nigerians. Our solar home systems includes a hybrid inverter. We also provide a lithium, high performance lithium batteries, and solar panels are monocrystalline. This is a top-notch premium package for Nigerians. We also provide 3-year warranty on our inverters. We provide 5-year warranty on our batteries. We also provide 10-year warranty on our solar panels. Wow. So StarTimes has been Nigeria for a while. We're trusted, and we're bringing that ET Nigerians, and you need to start. So what's out? Okay, basically what we start out is that thing that is giving StarTimes Solar a leverage, yes, an edge. Yeah, so apart from the product, it's a high-end product, it's very reliable, it has a long span. We are also giving our subscribers, we're also giving customers free audits. So the first step in purchasing a solar home system is knowing what to power, how much you want to power, how many hours you want to power, and we are providing free energy audits for our customers. So once you indicate that interest of, you want to buy a StarTimes Solar, we send our engineers to your home, to your business, or to your community, and we take a power audit, which it is free. Our warranty is really good as well. The solar panels come with a 10-year warranty. We stand out there. Our batteries come with a 5-year warranty. We also have a 3-year warranty on the inverter. We also have our after-sales service. We do. We also provide national delivery to customers. What are the packages? The solar packages? So, like I said earlier on, right for homes and communities. We're starting from the 3 kVA package. The 3 kVA package comes with the 2.5 kilowatts battery, which comes with 4 panels. We also have the 5 kVA package, which comes with the 5 kilowatts battery and 6 panels. We also have the 10 kVA. So it depends on your needs and what you power, but we provide 3 kV to any size of your choice. Okay, you know, when people are listening to that will come to the mind is payments. Is there any special payments plan? Okay, that is also where StarTimes stands out. So apart from the one-off cash payments that we have also provide an installmental payments plan. So what StarTimes has done is we've gone into partnership with some banks like Access Bank, Lapo Microfinance Bank, Stanbic IBTC, and for our customers that are unable to make the one-off cash payment, you can visit any of these banks. If you don't have an account with them, this is an opportunity for you to open an account with them, and they will provide the payment plan for you. Well, our viewers would like to have your contact number. How can we reach you? Okay, for these fabulous packages? For inquiries, if you have questions or you want to make any purchase, you can reach us on this number via phone calls and also WhatsApp 081 723 97880. So I'm going to take it again.
Call the number again.
081 723 97880.
Thank you very much. Your final word.
My final words will be, why don't you let the sun pay your bills with the StarTimes Solar?
I love that. Why don't you let the sun pay your bills? And as it is, we have lots and lots. We have too much sun in Nigeria.
Exactly. Nigeria has been blessed with sunlight almost all year round. So it makes sense to turn that to natural sun into reliable electricity.
Well, thank you very much, Stephanie Aka. We've been talking about StarTimes and its wonderful and fabulous packages. Like I said earlier on, good to see your face once again. You are watching us out there. Please do yourself a favor. Rush to the nearest site. Your locations.
And so we have offices all over Abuja. We have an office at Eldoret Close in Wuse off Aminu Kano Crescent. We also have an office at Area 11 opposite FCDA. We have an office at Arab Road in Kubwa, Maraba close to the Ori Bucket. So basically the number I just called out, it's working. You can just give us a call or you can send us a WhatsApp message and we're right there to attend to you.
So there you have it. You don't have to travel too far.
Yes.
There is always a StarTime nearest to you. We've been discussing lights, television packages, bouquet and everything. With 2,100 Naira, you can pay for your subscription. And also with as little as 15,000 Naira, right? You can buy a bouquet and enjoy beautiful StarTimes. Thank you, part of the plan.
Always a pleasure.
To see you again next week, right? So please do not go away. By next week, Thursday, we're coming back here again to talk about StarTimes and energy and everything that has to offer. It's been this on TMI from Abuja Center, and as we go on break, we'll be linking you up with the studio.
The new Edion expressed excitement as he danced and rejoiced before the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawori Igbinedion, who also joined in the dance. As visiting and paying of homage to various homes of senior elders continued, the initiates spent 7 days performing diverse kinds of rites as required by tradition. They were furnished with rules and regulations regarding their new office as Edion.
That I grew up in this community to the point that they have now also chosen me as an elder in this community. It's a thing of great joy. All thanks to the Esama of Benin, my people, my family, everybody, all Okada community for this great honor. I am very, very grateful.
Well, this is my brother. I'll call him my uncle because he grew up with my father. I'm so proud of him because we are doing the same rituals as the Edions of the Okada. It is our duty for us to make this place a greater place, for outsiders to come and see the goodness of God in Okada. And I'm proud of every one of us here. So shall it be to each and every one of us in Jesus' name.
Odion ma Okada zima Esama zima Dion Bona zima Dion Obana zima Dion Malawe Mari Esama Dion na ni mado pon Esama ni mado gbeken Esama e ma Dion wa na Esama ma gbeken ne osabo obuyo bi to na ba no ge to ni maga no dia mi maga me ma ni do gbeken ne de na e ma ya fe e ma ato e ma agbon oro pa ewu dori e ma dia wo re ne o be ti agbon ya no we mi maga me ni just question on me afa
in Esama in our father's house in respect of our initiation to elders Edion level. As tradition demands, we are here today to come and also pay our homage to him, to also for him to also pray for long life and prosperity.
The climax after 7 days was paying of homage again to the Edion way, where he gave the initiates the full rights to function and to henceforth participate in meetings with Edion. It will go down in the history and minds of Okada community, Ovia people, Edo State, and Nigeria in general. The ambience, style, and the colorful ceremony associated with the 2025 initiation into the Edion Council of former Governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Nosagari Igbinedion, his brothers Bright Ayamekwe Igbinedion, Honorable Charles Osenwige Igbinedion, Peter Osawori Igbinedion, Dr. Fred Osanwi Igbinedion, Barrister Mike Osane Igbinedion, Executive Director Operations, ITV and Radio, Chief Elder Gwede Onwunse, Honorable Efosa Douglas Igbinedion, Ukponwa Igbinedion, Osawe Igbinedion, Edosa Igbinedion, Dr. Daniel Omorige Igbinedion, as well as Agbong Steve Igbinedion, among other sons of Okada.
ITV, certainly the best.
This is Anegbete community, situated in Isako Central Local Government Area of Edo State. It is an agrarian community with united people that promotes unity and oneness for peaceful coexistence. The inhabitants of the community migrated from Benin, the cradle of black civilization, a kingdom where king is truly king. The ancestors of Anegbete saw that age was the main determinant of leadership in the rural setting, and the eldest man in the settlement was regarded as the leader who presided over meetings, and his authority is held in high esteem. To further strengthen this unique system of leadership, age group evolved in Anegbete. In Anegbete, age group is categorized into two, that is, the common and the noble.
thank you so much for staying with us, for just joining you onto this morning on ITV. And back here in our Benin studio, the conversation currently all over social media and also online as well and offline is as regards what Nigerians are currently going through with the insecurity, and not just the insecurity, the hardship biting currently in the land. Yesterday, we saw a prominent entertainer come out to voice out and say, you know what, it's also hitting deep here. So apparently it's going around and everybody is feeling the heat. Aside from the current heat wave we're having in the country, everything now, it's really a whole lot. So how would you scale through all of this? How have you been scaling through? What is the way forward? What should the federal government do? Has governance taken the back burner in Nigeria as we speak? Of course, you're aware that it's all politicking right now in the country. Moving forward, what should be done? That's the big question, Harry.
What should be done? Like I said much earlier on the program, Nigerians are naturally resilient people, and I really don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because, when you're so used to suffering, it eventually becomes your identity.
Are you saying Nigerians are suffering?
Well, they are. Isn't it obvious? I mean, the average Nigerian on the street is suffering. I mean, it's so clear to everyone, even the blind can see that, the average Nigerian is living in penury, and it's unfortunate that there doesn't seem to be any ray of hope, with the way things are going in the country, with the politicians so engrossed in politicking and, preparing for the next election and all of that. It goes to show that the interest of the masses is, takes the backstage in the scheme of things, and it actually leaves the average Nigerian to their fate. So the only thing we can do right now is just look up to the Creator and hope that things. We've always hoped, and we'll never stop hoping.
Creator, really?
Absolutely.
Oh well, what do you make of the NLC stance in all of this, the Nigeria Labour Congress? I mean, this should be one body that should speak for the masses, that should speak for the plight of an average Nigerian. But over time, a lot of Nigerians have classified them as toothless bulldog who only come out to vent, to rant, but we do not really feel and see their impact. Do you think they even have any stance or any part to hold grip in this, waging war, I would say?
Well, to begin with, it's been a long time since we witnessed a nationwide demonstration, or should I say a strike action, or a boycott of government, in the system. And it actually goes to show that even the NLC might be compromised, because a lot of times it's about what they are benefiting, okay? And if it doesn't affect them personally or affect their families, they don't seem to pull their weight. We don't even feel their impact, okay? So for Nigerians that believe that the NLC, is a toothless bulldog, well, they might have their reasons for having that impression. It's the onus now lies on the NLC to do the needful and to prove them wrong.
Okay, so just before we move over to Abuja, I hear Charity is on standby. There have been ongoing demands by Nigerian civil servants and of course the labor unions for a higher minimum wage, with figures around 70,000 are frequently mentioned in negotiations. I mean, just this morning on the front page of the newspaper, we did see that the civil servants, the association is giving the federal government 7 days to implement a 70,000 naira wage allowance, which is quite different from the minimum wage. Charity, your take on all of this, really?
Well, my take as a Nigerian is that it is 70,000 naira wage and whether 70,000 minimum wage or 70,000 naira wage. As it is now, it is not even enough to take home with the current situation that we are in, because let's not even talk about the fact that according to statistics, about 62% of Nigerians are living in poverty. We're talking about 139 million Nigerians living in poverty, and we have a sizable number of those people as civil servants who are under government pay, and even those ones are still suffering from this abject poverty, because even if you pay a Nigerian worker 140,000 naira a month, with the current situation, where will that take that person? If the person has a family to feed, has a wife, has rent to pay, especially in Abuja here, you can only but wonder what will that do to that person. For me, as far as I'm concerned, that is not even enough. And the funniest thing is that we
okay. Okay,
our
Charity.
politicians, we see
Thank
the
you so much.
elites
We'll get
are
back to
throwing
you
money
shortly. Let me
around
move
so
over
much with
to
and our politicians
Patricia in Lagos. Okay, great. So whilst we're still trying to regain connectivity there, the adults who would say that with what is going on right now in Nigeria, it seems to a lot of Nigerians that the federal government, not just the federal government, the politicians, government officials are disconnected from reality. Because oftentimes when you hear some of them speak and react to a lot of concerns that have been put on the front burner by Nigerians, you begin to ask yourself questions. Are these people even living in Nigeria? Are these people having a fair bite of what is going on? I hear that there's a bit of water shortage in some parts of the FCT, coupled with the electricity situation in the country. Water that is a natural gift from God. It's really alarming, really.
Well, we might be living in the same country, but we are living in two different realities entirely. It's pretty.
And why is that? Is even
the reason
question.
isn't far-fetched because a lot of them have access to these amenities. In fact, they have them in abundance. The power we're talking about is not a problem to most of them because they have solar power. They have, in fact, even the current situation of power in the country does not affect them the way it affects the masses. Because it's the masses, it's common sense. It's really not rocket science. You understand? The reason is you have to be there to understand. The masses can relate because they are right, in the heat of it, but they are operating on a different level entirely because most of these amenities, like I said, are at their beck and call. So when every time they have a chance to speak to the issues, they sound disconnected. They can't seem to relate because it is not their reality. You understand? So that's basically why you see them sounding the way they do most of the time because they are not, in the shoes of the masses.
Okay, well, it's an ongoing conversation, and I also did want to talk about the issue regarding the rice so crazy that we see, where every single time we have an issue, give them rice, light situation, rice. It's more or less like a rice government, that some persons would say. But we'll keep the conversation going and on and also burning as we move over to our Lagos Network studio where Patricia Gabriel is on. Over to you, Patricia.
has taken over the PDP structure. What is going on with PDP? Do we still have PDP in Nigeria? Do we still have members of the PDP, the party, still put together, or it is divided, or it is dead. Those are the few things we'll be looking at this morning. And to do this with me is Mr. Ideho. I got that as is Andy Shonstra. He will be discussing all of this with me this morning. Mr. Charles, you're welcome.
Thank you once again. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you.
And then I know we're starting off a little bit late, and probably Lagos area. Thank you for finding time to come. Let's just go straight to the PDP crisis.
Yeah.
I just said something. Wiki's led group is taking over. Is that true?
Oh, that's true. But the reason is that Wiki appears to be ahead of them all. He actually poured the aspiration of the National Executive Council or National Working Committee of the party. There was a lacuna. So, and you know, you can't have a lacuna in leadership. So what Wiki did was that he had to put people in place as a caretaker committee. So they were his men and women, if you will, that he quickly put in place to run the affairs of the party for a while, pending when they will go for national convention and elect new party. So, and that the people he put in place were able to, you know, gain roots in areas where they have their position. So that's why it's very difficult now to uproot Wiki and uproot his men. Whatever you do, you have to go back to him. I think sometime last week, even Sule Lamido even said that they've done all they could, but it just seemed that everything pointing back to Wiki. So PDP, look, if you must move forward, let us reconcile with Wiki and see how we can work with him. Not only Sule Lamido, even the federal appeal calling the Ibadan, also part of the judgment. After the judgment, he also the judge was telling them, please go. What you need to do is that go and reconcile so that you can have a way to now become a vital opposition in a democracy. So whether I like it or not, Wiki is the one that is or his fashion, as you call it, the one that is winning, and then everybody is now being told to go and reconcile. Then Taminu Turaki's fashion, they've been. Taminu himself, Turaki also came out to say, well, they've made some inroads. They're also talking with the Wiki-led fashion. So whether I like it or not, the Wiki-led fashion is ahead of them.
So, Wiki is a strong strategist.
Well, he is. I mean, I think I told the master strategy he made was to have installed his men as the caretaker committee, amongst the caretaker committee members at that time when there was when of the last end I think it's the National Working Committee expired. So he put them there, and then in the party we knew they gave to them. So that's why it's very good. When you go left, they have she refine of Wiki in a manner of speaking for them to make any heavy. But even if they are going to be everybody's going to be going.
The land of Owa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Owa
It doesn't happen.
Is it
well,
ITV. ITV, certainly the best.
Staying with us, this is This Morning on ITV. A lot of things to talk about this morning, especially here in Nigeria. And let's not also forget that the war in the Middle East is still on, and we are currently in the 4th week, with how it has impacted the world and how it will continue to impact the economy of the world. That's a conversation that has come to stay. Amidst all of this here in Nigeria, whilst we're still trying to grapple with insecurity, the living cost, the means of living in Nigeria, the average means of living for Nigerians. We also have politics moving forward, coming pretty closely in 2027. Just as we did talk about the other time with our guests seated with us here in the studio, when we did rub mind with what we should be expecting come the national convention for both the APC and of course the PDP. But there are those who would actually say that the ADC is also there, and it seems to a lot of Nigerians as another alternative route aside from the PDP, who are still at this point not been able to put their house together and their house in order. Now for the ADC, there are a lot of permutations and expectations from them. Would they be able to give Nigerians that strong alliance that will or would be able to defeat President Bola Tinubu in 2027 or take him off the seat? Because clearly it is glaring that for the APC it's going to return back to the president, and he would definitely be recontesting again in 2027. Amidst all of this, over the weekend we saw what happened in Kano State between the Peter Obi, right, and the visit he had to Kwankwaso. We saw how a lot of persons there, the Kwankwasia group, were chanting Peter Obi, and of course Kwankwaso was there as well. And a lot of Nigerians say, hey, okay, are we going to be seeing another alignment? Now mind you, moving back to the 2023 general election, when both parties had the ability, right, and the opportunity of coming to work together, but we didn't see that. And a lot of Nigerians now are saying, don't you think it's rather too late for you to do what you have to do? But at the end of the day, never say never, because 2027 is here and we just have to make do with whatever that we have. Harry?
Well, as for whether the ADC is a formidable third force, is actually not in question, because if they weren't, then the incumbent party, which is the APC, and of course the PDP, wouldn't be running helter-skelter. For example, we saw what happened, you know, in Edo State quite recently during the, I think the inauguration of the ADC, and how some thugs, allegedly from the APC or from wherever, you know, invaded the space and of course, you know, attacked some of the people there. It actually goes to show that indeed the ADC is a formidable force, and it's a force to, you know, it's a force to reckon with going forward in 2027. But the question we're going to be asking as we approach 2027 is, will this force remain formidable? Will there not be cracks like we're already seeing in the PDP as we speak? Of course, we also understand that there is a faction of the ADC even as we speak. But, you know, can they put their house in order just like you said? Because a house divided against itself, just like scripture says, cannot stand. So the big question we're asking is, will they remain a united front in order to be able, you know, to wrest power from the, you know, incumbent forces? So these are the questions that Nigerians are asking.
It's interesting to see how everybody is now telling and talking about the Holy Book. I remember we had Idris here who was vehemently on that, and then you now, and then some people will think you're all churchy. But anyway, formidable, is the ADC really formidable is the question? Because there are those who would say that, oh, it's just a group of failed politicians, in quotes, persons who are looking for just selfish ambitions, with likes of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who has been running for as long as I can remember because he wants to be the president. And we also have the like of Amechi, Rotimi Amechi, of course, who we did see at one time in Nigeria. He was the minister of the transportation right now, trying to get which particular one. And we saw what he did with the railway system. And recently, one particular one had a disaster with it. Another person did say, oh, we can't even see that substandard substantial thing that you did whilst you were in power, and you want to be part of governance come 2027, if that would even work. Just recently, one of the chieftain of the ADC, having his own thoughts and premonition about this, did say that he believes that Atiku Abubakar is the best person to clinch the ticket of the ADC if it's going to move over to the north, that he feels that Atiku should go back to the helms of power because he has the capacity, he has the experience and all. But would that even work? Mind you, with the rotational government that we get to operate here in Nigeria, it is the time of the South. That is why a lot of persons now are saying that if it's for the president, anybody who would want to come against him has to be from the South. And at this point, I think it's just Peter Obi and Rotimi Amechi maybe, and others.
Well, you know, I totally understand your sentiments, and I share them as well. But you see, when the desirable is unavailable, right, the available becomes desirable.
Of course. Okay, so we'll leave the conversation here, thankfully, and we'll see how things goes eventually. 2027 is here, but we'll quickly take a short break, and we'll move over to newspaper update.
The new Idiom expressed excitement as they danced and rejoiced before the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawari Benedion, who also joined in the dance. As visiting and paying of homage to various homes of senior elders continued, the initiates spent 7 days performing diverse kinds of rites as required by tradition. They were furnished with rules and regulations regarding their new office as Edion.
That I grew up in this community to the point that they have now also
Top of the morning to you, and thanks for joining us on the AM News for this time. I am Harry Igbo. The recent hike in petrol prices has sent shockwaves through the transportation sector in Benin City, with drivers and passengers alike lamenting the soaring costs of fuel and diesel. Joe Baisiabo has more.
Transport is too much. Because of this, people don't go church now. People don't go market as before again. In fact, the stress is really too much for us.
Many passengers in Benin metropolis have expressed their frustration, saying that fuel price increase has led to a significant rise in transportation costs, with some fares increasing by as much as 100 naira, which has placed a heavy burden on commuters who are struggling to make ends meet.
Everywhere is hard now. Obviously, where would they enter? 400, now they say it's 500.
With fuel prices ranging from 1,300 naira to 1,400 naira, the impact of the hike is being felt across the board, with commercial bus drivers, delivery bikes, and personal vehicles also affected.
The high cost of fuel now, transport need to increase. Like my route now, Goodwill Trade Fair Park. We now, the union, the people there, the community there, they could not increase. So we increase it, they go even make trouble with us. And whereas we buy this thing not up to 1,000, now it's 1,400. You can now see. We don't have anything to take home now. No take home.
Passengers and drivers alike are calling on the government to intervene and provide relief to the poor masses who are bearing the brunt on the price increase.
The government really need to do something about it. It's not really easy for us. Mostly this school run of 18, so for parents, it's not that easy.
The situation of this fuel don't become so critical for we. No passenger. We don't know how who we will cry to.
As the situation continues to unfold, residents of Benin City are crying out for relief, and it remains to be seen how the government will address their concerns. From Benin, Joy Obaisiagmo, ITV News.
Operatives of the Edo State Security Corps have arrested one Friday Ede, a commercial bus driver, for allegedly stealing and attempting to sell a vehicle belonging to his employer. The suspect reportedly absconded with the bus at Dawson Junction for over a week before he was intercepted along Ahor Road while trying to sell parts of the vehicle. Crime correspondent Jola Adeojo has details.
What began as an act of goodwill turned into a distressing experience for the owner of the commercial bus, Pastor Tom Edosa, who said he entrusted his vehicle to the suspect based on trust and perceived dedication to work. Pastor Edosa, who had been searching for his missing vehicle, explained that he had no prior relationship with the suspect, but occasionally allowed him to use the bus to earn a living. According to him, on Sunday, March 15th, he assisted the suspect in loading the bus as usual and expected his return later that day. However, both the driver and the vehicle went missing.
Because we work for that dance here, they follow me, they do things. As I travel one day, I come give my motor, I come spend 2 days. I come by, come give me money. So I come collect the motor. With that, now I just use trust. This one, that day, I just come. Now I come drive, come meet her in the morning. He say, you will go work on Sunday. He say, yes, say, go work. That's okay. I come able, and you supposed to carry me go. Now I come say, okay, passenger, your food ground. Now I help and load the motor. I come give him 3,000. Say, take buy for me for carry you to go. He come say, okay. In the evening, bring motor come. He come say, okay. In the evening, I go there, they say, just a load, come on. And so I tell wait, after 11 in the night.
The suspect, Friday Ede, who was apprehended while attempting to sell parts of the vehicle, including the fuel tank, after allegedly selling one of the doors, reportedly confessed that he carried out the act to raise money.
What make you carry and come? What you want to do to the minibus?
Carry and come and book a place here.
You want to sell them?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't come out the door self for 40 years.
Okay.
So, we want to say the boss. So if you know what's out there,
The suspect has since been handed over to the police for further investigation and possible prosecution. Jola Diojo, ITV News.
And moving on, member representing Ovia Northeast and Ovia Southwest Federal Constituency, Right Honorable Omosede Gabriela Igbenedion, has condemned the reported cases of sexual harassment of young girls during the recent festival in Ozoro, Delta State. She described the acts as disturbing, unacceptable, and a violation of human dignity. The lawmaker stressed that cultural events should promote unity and heritage, not expose women and girls to abuse. Right Honorable Igbenedion called on security agencies to investigate the incidents and ensure perpetrators are brought to justice. She also urged community leaders and event organizers to strengthen safety measures to protect women and girls at public gatherings. Residents of Benin City are grappling with intense heat as temperatures rise, with strong and unfriendly air heightening concerns over the negative impacts of climate change on daily life. Patience Osarogiwa reports that experts has, however, asked government and the public to work together to address challenges.
Climate change is not just a global conversation, it is a reality being felt across communities, affecting weather patterns, food supply and livelihoods.
Nigerians and many people in the tropical regions of the world used to enjoy good weather nurtured by rain. But in the past few years, reverse has been the case, leading with less rain and hot weather. In Benin City, residents say the hot weather affects planting season, sleep patterns, which has become increasingly unbearable, especially at night, threatening livelihoods and food security. The scorching sun forces many to seek shade and consume more water to stay hydrated. Experts attribute the rising temperatures to climate change worsened by too much emission of fossil fuel from industrial consumption, deforestation, testing of nuclear weapons, and vast deployment of bombs by weary nations. Poor waste disposal, especially in urban centers such as Ramat Park, Ikpoba Hill, New Benin, and King Square, also contributes to environmental pollution and worsens climate conditions.
But is there another thing when I say hotter? The weather is hot. There was rain yesterday, but today now, you see the weather now. Everybody's looking for shades to hide. Cold water every time. To help myself, at times I pour some on my face.
Presently, coping with the weather is something else. Sometimes I came outside at night, and even the breeze in the night also get hotter.
The weather is really telling on everybody. Like myself, I don't sleep at night. We open window to receive direct air.
We need to drink enough water. It's very hot. Things have changed. We don't even know dry season and rainy season now. You will find out that in the month of January, it is rainy, which is supposed to be a very dry month. The next day, the heat will be extreme.
An environmentalist, Professor Gideon Imelue, recommended collective action, urging both government and individuals to plant more trees, reduce pollution, and adopt clean energy solutions. Professor Imelue warns that prolonged exposure to extreme heat can cause dehydration and heat exhaustion, advising residents to stay hydrated.
Every opportunity we have, we should plant trees. The standard organization should also be involved in terms of some of the things that they are leaving, they have discarded from abroad. You see them, they push them here. They are not standard enough. You see motor that is smoking. Now we don't even know what is dry season again. We don't know what is rainy season. Things are going somehow. So because of radiation, you have to drink water that will give you the balance that you need.
For many Nigerians, the impact of climate change is becoming harder to ignore. From Benin, I am Patience Osaogiwa, ITV News.
And that's how we wrap things up on the ITV News for this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Harry Igboje. TMI Socials is up next. Please stay tuned.
ITV, certainly the best.
Good morning. This is CMI Socials. I am Anuoluwakbo Stevens. So better still call me a social media butterfly. Now, Nigerians are still reacting to the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, where on Tuesday he tendered a public apology to Nigerians over crippling and persistent outages witnessed in the last month. He admitted that blackout has deepened hardship across homes, businesses, schools, and industries amid the scorching dry season heat. This comes as the minister announced that he left the door open on his political future, adding that his immediate focus remained to address the country's electricity challenges. There have been speculations over his continued stay in office amid a possible entry into the Oyo State governorship race. Anyway, let's take a listen to him.
Coming from me as the Minister of Power, that for this temporary issue that is leading to hardship being experienced, especially during this dry season, where there is so much heat everywhere, where businesses are also being affected, where schools are being affected, where industries are being affected. It is not our wish to find ourselves in this situation. But it's some factors that's actually beyond our control. But we are not relenting. We are working on it 24/7 to make sure that we go back to the trend, to the trajectory of 2025, whereby you praised us, whereby you commended us for a good job well done. And we can imagine if we could provide such service in 2025, this is 2026, this is when we'll be willing to even do more, to even do better as we are close to the election year. So, except that we cannot help it, that's why we find ourselves here. But I can assure you that in the next few weeks, all this will be over. Power generation will improve, transmission will improve, distribution will improve, and that 6,000 megawatts will be achieved before the end of this year. And Nigerians will be better for it. Thank you.
There you have it. Nigerians would be better for it. How did you take this online? Let's see what you have been saying. This user wrote, this apology should be coming with resignation. His employer should ask him to resign. The Senate should invite him to explain the reason behind his poor performance. Those are what you get when all ministerial nominees are asking to take a bow and go without criticizing or scrutinizing to know if they have what it takes to deliver in their given portfolios. Okay. Another user reaction says he finally remembers Nigerians when it's obvious he won't be flying the APC gubernatorial flag in his state. Man was busy since politicking. Today he is back to gaslighting Nigerians. Well, still in this bit, Chimamanda wrote, words are easy, but Nigerians need stable power, not repeated apologies from Adebayo Adelabu. Hope this time the solution is real and lasting because the impact on daily life and businesses is getting too heavy. Another user reacting to this story still on X, Arinze, wrote, he wants to contest for a governor in his state, and his current performance is affecting his chances to being picked as the flag bearer for his party. That's what prompted the apologies. Trust me, Nigerians are not having it smooth with the Minister of Power. Now, away from that, let's move over to another interesting viral video where yesterday we saw online where the 31 Nigerian governors gathered singing "On Your Mandate We Shall Stand" and also trying to strategize on winning the 2027 general elections. Take a look. It's the Burza for me. It's giving a little continual vibes. On your minute, we shall stand. We love Nigerians asking, is that our new national anthem, really? But how did you take this online? Let's find out. We'll start off with this user who wrote, a whole summit of leaders, yet no lights, no jobs, no roads, no hospitals, just strategies to stay in power. They didn't gather to fix Nigeria. They gathered to secure themselves. At this point, governance has become a side hustle. Politics is the main job. Shameless is fairly. Okay. Another user reacting, Kinsley wrote, have campaigns started? What is going on? Like, no one cares about the main reason why they are elected. I am beginning to think that these guys are in for business. Nothing concerns them with governance. Another user still in X wrote, when you reach your turn, no sync. These are the same leaders that Nigerians will still vote for again and again. We all desire change, yet we are not ready for that change. Okay, so I think that's all we have on that bit. But away from that, let's go over to Kwara State, where tension erupted on Wednesday at Kwara Polytechnic Ilori following reports of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, operatives in that area. Now, students who had recently resumed academic activities became restless, and they staged a protest at the Polytechnic gate, burning tires along parts of Old Jeba Road. So videos circulating on social media showed an officer allegedly chasing a student, heightening panic across campus. Take a look. Well, reaction to this, netizens have been saying this. With this user, King David on X, Nigerian universities have become soft. The government and pop culture has ruined everything. If it was before, when men were still men, those officers will regret when they were born. How can you enter campus? Good question. Another user still reacting on X, Vintage wrote, if this is true, then SUG in higher institution isn't what it used to be. Okay, well, still in this debate, this user wrote, to correct your claim, EFCC didn't enter the campus at any point. The first video you attach is actually a police officer in a red cloth and black bulletproof vest, which many mistook for a red jacket. EFCC operated around some student area 4 to 5:30 a.m., so they never entered the school premises at all. Already, now this user still an X reacting. Is there no way the operatives can operate in a well-mannered and professional way? Do people have to run helter-skelter while some misplacing their properties in the process, and also some getting injured in the process? A lot of questions really to be asked, but I feel at the end of the day, only the EFCC and the federal government and all of their relevant security operatives have the right answers to provide. But anyway, that's how we get to wrap up TMI Socials this morning. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I am Nuoluwapo Stevens. And from all of us on This Morning on ITV, Lagos, Abuja, and right here in Edo State, do have yourself a great day. We'll see you next week.